Good afternoon, and welcome to another slipshod episode of Diatribes. I'm the voice of doom. Now here's your slapdash and slovenly host, voice of doom. Hello. Alright, so I'll wait till the last minute to do a diatribe. I have to leave for work in a half hour at the latest. And try to fit a diatribe in. So I did one, and then the sound was bad, so I'm going to have to erase it and do it all over again, which is annoying. But I was talking about the microcosm. I wanted to catch up on our misery. After I found out that Max had checked himself in and out of the hospital, I let it go, and then Monday of last Monday, it's Saturday today, I was wandering around the middle of the town and saw the food line at the church, and so I figured I'd see if Max was around and see what happened. And I didn't find him there, but I ended up stumbling into him, and he was going to meet a bunch of his so-called friends on the street by the library, and they're all bums, and they're all street people. And he looked horrible, and he had been drinking. I don't know where he got money for it, but he hasn't been home in like a week, and so I figure he's making do. So I talked to him and I say, are you moving out or not? Because I don't want this halfway business. You either come and get your act together, or you leave the house and take all your stuff. And we got into it a little bit. I mean, not really too bad, but he's like, well, I thought you wanted me to leave. And I'm like, well, if you're going to leave, leave. Oh, he pulls this gaslighting on me. And, passive-aggressive crap, trying to make like everything's okay. And I said, he said everything was fine, and I go, weren't you in the hospital? And he goes, oh yeah. And then, how'd you know? And it's like, things happen, I find out. And he's like, well, yeah, I went in. I go, didn't you go in and out of the hospital twice? And he goes, yeah. So he is realizing that I know what's going on. I'm like, where are you sleeping? In the park. Well, that was 5 days ago. Now he's still sleeping in the park. It's been raining for 3 days, off and on. So he's going to die of exposure. I find out yesterday from another person that I stumbled into that they saw Max yesterday. So I know he's alive, at least as of 2:47 Pacific time. Now, just as I'm talking to him, another bum rides up on his bike and goes to the other group, and he gets mad. He's yelling and screaming and cursing out another bum, and takes his bike and throws it at him, and there's a brouhaha of bums because that is their want. They're alcoholics and drug addicts, so they fight over their little misunderstandings in their own micro economic system. So I looked at the group and him, and I said, is that what the life you want from now on? And it was perfect timing. And he didn't say much. And I walked away and got in my car and drove off. And that was 5 days ago. So I don't know how he's getting by. He told me they gave him a motel room for one of those days, so he might have gotten a little bit cleaned up there, but at any rate, I hope he is struggling, and he's going to be learning a lot, and as long as he's surviving, he's getting stronger. He may be learning how to act when, everything falls apart. He'll have an edge on everybody else. But I'm not going to let it get to me. I can see now that I can keep up with his every move without ever having to see him. But he's going to have to get his stuff out of the house because I may need a roommate. So that's the microcosm update. Things aren't that great. Benjamin has done his first week in basic training, and he'll probably call me tomorrow. And, want things done. So, can look forward to that. But I wanted to talk about the culture clash a bit, since I have some more time. And it's nice to live in what used to be a country that is inclusive, diversity, because now we can finally have a whole diverse bunch of people running for what used to be the United States presidency. And now we have a terrorist that's been nominated, or that's announced his intention to run. And it's nice to include terrorists because they're just part of the fabric of our society. Given a chance. And the name of that terrorist is Ron DeSatanist. Now, he is a terrorist according to the NAACP. And that's a weird name for an organization. I guess it just goes back into antiquity. But, I went in to somebody and I said, how many colored people are living in this town? Well, how dare you? How dare you say that? Like, well, you call yourself the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Well, we can say that. But you say it and there's going to be trouble. We're not colored people. We're people of color. It's like, all right, whatever. The idiocy is so obvious. I can say anything microcosm-wise. I said something that was a stereotype to an employee, a co-worker, and they said, oh, that's really racist. And I go, if I can't joke with you about something, the very fact that I'm making fun of you shows I'm not a racist. And they actually thought about it and said, oh, yeah, okay, maybe you're right. See, that's how you solve it. We all make fun of each other at will. That will be the time that maybe we might coalesce into a society again. I don't see it happening. So, culture clash. Florida is a terrorist place. It is a dangerous place for people of color to visit. So they put out a warning. It's basically a terrorist state that, it's dangerous. They put out a travel warning against Florida. Now, the head of Florida is nominating him, or he's putting his hat in the ring for the presidency. So we include the terrorists, especially the white cisgendered terrorists, males. Now, the culture clash. Okay, DeSatanist, I don't call them that. That's just satire. It's a good one, though. I'll call him that. DeSatanist is choosing Elon Musk's platform, Twitter, to announce his candidacy. Okay, so he did it. And it kind of goes over not too great. There's glitches, which is the want of technology. And there's just basic no visuals. Okay. Then they say, well, that was a flop. And it's like, well, wait a minute. 25 million people listened on Twitter when he made his announcement. And he would have only gotten 6 million if he had gone on a network channel. Okay, that's fine. 25 million people that I don't want voting. Because if you are going to be on pins and needles to get on Twitter so you can hear the announcement from DeSatanist that he is going to run when everybody knew it for 2 or 3 months. Everybody's known it since since he came on the scene. But they're going to, all 25 million people, tune into Twitter and crash the site because they had to hear live. I was there. I know where I was when I heard that DeSatanist announced for the presidency. It's like the damn moon landing. That was something people hung on pins and needles. I remember exactly what I was doing that whole week, that whole 3 days. It was exciting. Someone was going to go walk on the moon. And we watched television, and we were on vacation at the same time. And it's a long story. I won't get into that, but I remember where I was when the first man walked on the moon. Now, it might be a hoax. We won't get into that. But my grandchildren, get on my knees. I will tell you what I was doing when I listened to Twitter and heard DeSatanist, the former president, announce, "Oh boy, this will be great." Come on. So that's a culture clash, using Twitter or the internet or digital as opposed to the old guard network television. So there's some infighting with that. Now, the culture clash is also very complicated because the boomers always are still the dominant class in society. There's lots of boomers. Each generation there's less. So even though you have a lot of mentally ill people called Gen Z and the millennials that are kind of coming into their own, the boomers still, hold sway. Okay, but the boomers want to be cool. That's one thing about boomers. They don't ever want to be known as, uncool, crotchety, old-fashioned. Don't even ever say old-fashioned. I'm going to be up on everything that's happening. I'm very cool. I listen to the latest music. I have the latest gadgets. And I do dances on YouTube and TikTok. And I'm 67 years old. I'm very proud that I've kept up. And whatever happens. They get a heart attack and leave. But the boomers hold sway. And there's kind of, the boomers, we talk, and it's like, I miss the old days. I miss the old Elton John concert arenas. You had to go buy a record, and things were simpler, and you didn't have we talk about that, but we have to still keep up. So there's a clash. There's a mind thing, I can't remember the term, where you're at odds with yourself. And I could talk more about this, but I'm running out of things to say, and I think I said what I wanted to. So I'll erase the other one. And have a good afternoon, everybody. Bye.